What is up, Yugi Bros? I know it's been a bit. I know I was kind of off for a few days. Sorry about that. A lot of people have been wondering, did I leave because Matt Bell is gone and there is no hope left for Speed Duels? No, that is not why I left, and I do think there's still hope for Speed Duels. Plus, somebody's gonna take over. Like, we'll be okay, guys. We'll. I'm gonna miss Matt Bell, honestly. I really thought he was good for Speed. I think he did a fantastic job. I think every single set that came out had validity to it, had like real combos that you could mix and match between different decks. I loved that different things worked well together. Usually when you get a Konami set, about 10 of the 100 cards work really well, and then 90 of them are just throwaways. But mostly everything in Speed Duels was relevant upon release, so congrats to Matt Bell. He will be definitely missed. I wish him luck in his next position. I know he was at Konami for, I think, 9 years. That guy did a lot, especially for Konami Europe mostly. That was his branch that he worked at. So, mad props to him. Good luck to you, bro, in everything you do from here on out. I wish you the best, and I hope everything works out for you. I really hope Speed Duel survives. But to get down to the video at hand, we're going to talk today about the top 10 cards that I would like to see in the Speed Duel box for Kaiba. Matt Bell said he put his heart and soul into this box, the Speed box I mean. He tried to put as many things as people requested as possible in here, so I can't wait to see what's in here. And believe me guys, even if what I've been predicting isn't in there, obviously this is just a wish list for each character slash theme. I know we're not going to get everything. And the way Matt Bell's done products thus far, I can't wait to see what he has planned for this box. Regardless as to whether none of my predictions are correct, or half of them, or all of them, you know what I mean. So, anyways, a lot of you are going to be expecting Blue Eyes cards on this. Blue Eyes cards as far as the eye can see. But if you guys all remember correctly, other than Blue Eyes White Dragon, and maybe a card or two that'll be on this list that works with Blue Eyes White Dragon, Kaiba did play other cards, believe it or not. So we're going to touch on those other cards, especially because it's the Battle City box. So we're going to touch on cards focused mainly from Battle City. There's going to be a few that aren't, but mostly from Battle City. That's how my lists have been going. So we're going to kick this list off with Mahavelo. Excuse me if I'm saying that wrong. I've been pronouncing it like that my entire life, and I don't feel like changing it now. This is a level 4 light spellcaster effect monster with 1550 attack and 14 defense. This card says this card gains 500 attack for each equipped card equipped to this card. This is an interesting card, and definitely one I'm pretty sure none of you expected to be on my list, especially in my number 1 slot. And granted, the top 10 isn't in any specific order, it's just 10 cards I'd like to see. But I wanted to kick it off with not only not a Blue Eyes card, but a card none of you probably expected first. But we have a lot of equipped cards in this game. We have Fighting Spirit, we have Bashing Shield, to name a few, and let's just be fair here. If you put this up with a Bashing Shield, it's 3050 attack. If you put it up with a Fighting Spirit, it's gaining 300 for each monster your opponent controls, and then 500 for its extra boost. So at minimum, your opponent has a monster, it's 800 plus any other monsters they put on the field for, another 300 each. And if that would die by battle, it wouldn't die once per turn. I think this would be a really cool gimmicky card that could see play in Speed Duels. But of course, like I've said, something as simple as putting a Bashing Shield on it makes it 50 points stronger than Blue Eyes White Dragon right out the gate. I think this is a cool idea. I would love to see this. I don't think this would be OP at all because you have to equip it with an equipped card, so it's an extra thing. Otherwise, it's just not really doing anything for you. It's a light spellcaster, so it's not going to have too much playability in some decks, of course. But hey, why not, right? So the next one is a bit of a fan favorite, and that is Legend, the Mystical Genie of the Lamp. I have both pictures because I would prefer the one on the left, but hey, I'll take either one at this point. It's an 1800 normal monster, dark level 4 fiend, 1000 defense, but mostly because it's just a level 18 normal monster. And I don't know if the plan for this box is to delve into 1900 attacks. I don't think we're going to do that just yet. We just started with 1800s being a normal thing between Gilgarth and Zoma and other things. Plus we had Gearfried already. So I say just add another one to the mix. Gives normal monsters another little 100 extra boost. But it's also one of Kaiba's old favorites, old classics, I should say. And it's dark, which is cool, and it's a fiend, and we kind of need more fiends to make Into the Darkness Below a little bit better. So why not Lejin, right? And then with Lejin, I'm going to pair it here with Ancient Lamp. And Ancient Lamp says, during your main phase, you can special summon one Lejin, the Mystical Genie of the Lamp, from your hand. This card must be face up on the field to activate and resolve this effect. For damage calculation, if this card is being attacked by your opponent's monster and was face down at the start of the damage step, you can target one monster your opponent controls except the attacking monster. The attacking monster attacks it instead, and you proceed to damage calculation. So, I don't want this one for its stats. It's a level 3 win, 914. I want this for its cool little extra effect. So the first thing is, during your main phase, you can special summon a Lejin Mystical Genie from the lamp from your hand. That's great and all. But if this thing is face down, it kind of acts like a switch for the people that don't know what that trap is. If it's attacked while it was face down at the start of the damage step, you can target a different monster your opponent controls, and then the attacking monster swings into the other monster on the opponent's field. And then you proceed right to damage calculation. It's a really cool tech. I think it's got a little bit of a battle trick to it that a lot of people don't see, and I think it would be pretty cool. It's also a spellcaster, so you could play it in some type of spellcaster-esque type deck. I just think this has like a cool effect, a cool little bit of flavor with Lejin. You pair it with that, and then you also give it this cool little defensive maneuver that you play on your opponent's turn. I don't know, it seems pretty cool, and that's why I have Ancient Lamp on this list as well. Now, Konami loves their normal monsters. If you guys remember, Twisted Nightmares and Match of the Millennium had a slew of normal monsters. Every set thus far has had a slew of normal monsters, a lot of which we've brought over from the OCG, so in that regard, I'm okay with it. But in this regard, this is Kaiba's boy, okay? I don't have an actual argument for this card other than it's just the Kaiba card. This is actually only had 3 printings over here in the TCD, and it is Judge Man. I got nothing for this. I just want Judge Man because he's Judge Man. Like, y'all know Judge Man. Y'all know Kaiba's Judge Man. Like, why don't we have him yet, you know? This club-wielding warrior battles to the end and will never surrender? Yo, who wouldn't want Judge Man on their team, right? Come on. That's all I got. Moving on. Let's talk a card that actually works with blue eyes, and that is Kaiser Seahorse. Level 4, light, sea serpent effects, 17 attack, 1650 defense. Those are already decent stats. But to add a little extra to it, it says this card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a light monster. We have Double Costin. He's treated as 2 tributes for a dark monster. It's about time we get this thing. Oh, by the way, you can play this and then tribute it for the Blue Eyes White Dragon. I rest my case. Also, it's a sea serpent. It's not a water, but it would get the boost from Yumi, I believe, which is interesting. But you know, if we all, you know, if we're going off the notion that we replaced Yumi with a legendary ocean, then I guess he falls a little short there. But yeah, that's fine, right? That's fine. We still got him for blue eyes and all the light things we want to sacrifice for 1 tribute instead of 2. So, Kaiser Seahorse, everyone. Kaiser Seahorse. Claps for Kaiser. Let's talk about a trap card by the name of Shadow Spell. This is a continuous trap that says activate this card by targeting 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 700 attack. Also, it cannot attack or change its battle position. When it leaves the field, destroy this card. Kaiba used this. It wasn't a trap in the anime, but here we are. This was actually originally released, I think, way back into the Evolution deck, the Kaiba Evolution deck. One of the... I think it was a sequel to the Kaiba starter deck. This has been around for a long time. This and Kaiser Seahorse were actually brand new cards in that deck. I remember buying it as a kid. It's crazy. Years ago. I'm old. Anyways, Shadow Spell. Has a similar effect to Nightmare Wheel that it stops the monster and it can't change its battle position or attack. Same with Spellbinding Circle to that extent. Kind of the same with Mask of the Accursed, except with Mask you can change its battle position. But with Shadow Spell, the upside here is that the monster loses 700 attack, so it becomes weaker. If you lower a Blue Eyes from 3,000 to 23, that's pretty good. A lot of beat sticks that are 1 tribute start at 24 or more, So you could get over a Blue Eyes real easily with this. If you drop Moth by 700, it goes down to 28. And all of a sudden, your Blue Eyes White Dragon can kill it. Actually, your Timer Dragon can also kill it. There's a lot that could kill it. Your Mahavelo, equipped with Bashing Shield, can kill it. So, you know, there's a lot you can do with this. I'm not saying we need more traps that say can't attack or change the battle position, because we already have a decent amount. But if Nightmare Wheel ever gets hit, and I don't know if it deserves to or not once, you know, Jinzo actually falls into the forefront with everything else that's in this box, I don't know if Nightmare Wheel will still be the powerhouse that it is, but if it does and we eventually get a limited list, then I could see this becoming the main card. Obviously, if you had to choose between this and Nightmare Wheel is still the card to choose. But the loss of 700 attack can sway a matchup depending on what you're playing and what you're playing against. So I don't think this is a bad option by any stretch of the imagination. And, you know, again, it's a Kaiba card here. It's a card used during the Battle City tournament. So, hey, let's throw in some of this. The next one I have on this list is a bit of a Kaiba killer, so to speak, but Kaiba did play this card, and that is Dragonseeker. It's a level 6 Dark Fiend, another Fiend for all you Fiend fans, 2000 attack, 2100 defense. When this card is normal or flip summoned to destroy one face-up dragon monster on the field. Now this card actually still hasn't had problem-solving card text. I would imagine it would say target one face-up dragon on the field and destroy it. If it doesn't target, that's great, but I'm pretty sure it does. But hey, this ain't bad, right? Dark Fiend, level 6, 1 tribute, easy to summon, 2000 attacks, not bad. Pop a dragon on the field, you know, for all those dragon players, all those blue eyes and red eye, so all those blue eyes players, you know, an out. Listen, I think, obviously, because Kaiba gets cards in this box, he'll get support for his Blue Eyes cards. I'm obviously riffling off most of the Battle City cards that he used, but I definitely am not against seeing Kaiba actually get real Blue Eyes cards here, and that could actually make Blue Eyes a real threat. So having Dragonseeker as a nice counter to that, I think is pretty validated, at least in some respects. Like, we have Gap the Divine Soldier to deal with those face-down defensive decks that set a lot of small monsters. Why not we have a 1 tribute monster in the form of Dragonseeker to help us deal with the Blue Eyes decks or Red Eyes decks if either of those ever get strong. And the thing is with Dragonseeker, like, it doesn't say select in its effect, so correct me if I'm wrong. That might mean that it doesn't target, and if it doesn't target, then against Lord of D with dragons on the field, you could still pop the dragons. I don't actually know how Seeker's going to be ruled once it has problem summon cards next, but I don't see this not coming over just because of how relevant it was in the show, and also it's a Kaiba card, so even if it's not in this box, maybe eventually we'll see it. I don't know. We'll see where we go from here. Next on the wonderful list of Kaiba cards, we have DD Warrior. No, not DD Warrior Lady. The original DD Warrior. Level 4 Earth Warrior. 1200 attack, 1000 defense. After damage calculation, when this card battles a monster. Banish that monster, also banish this card. Fantastic removal. It does have to banish the monster that attacked it, essentially. But, you know what? If you can somehow guide your opponent's monster into this, or you have this swing into an opponent's monster, and they don't have a way to stop you, you've just banished their monster. And I know we don't have so much with banishing yet. I don't think we have very, very few. I know we have Lesser Fiend. I know we have very, very few things that banish, but this could be the beginning of the banish era. More often than not, this card was used with Kaiba. Kaiba used this multiple times in the show, if memory serves correctly. And it's really good spot removal. Not that, you know, not that we need more spot removal, but it's an Earth, it's not a Dark, so it's not like, you know, if you're playing a Dark Moth build, you probably won't be playing this because it ain't Dark. And sure, it's not DD Warrior Lady that gives you the option of whether you want to banish the monster that attacked it or not. It's actually forced, so your opponent could swing into it with a weak monster, take a little bit of damage, and then DD Warrior is forced to banish both it and the thing that swung into it. But, you know, I think having something like DD Warrior Lady might be too good right now, just especially because, you know, we're working up the ladder on power creep here. We don't want to overshoot ourselves too far. So I think DD Warrior's pretty cool. I think that'd be a really cool card in Speed Duels. The next one I have is one I think a lot of you will be really happy about, and that's the level 6 Light Dragon 2422 named Kaiser Glider. Cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster that has the same attack. Oh, Jinzo fans will cringe at this card. If this card is destroyed and sent to the grave, target one monster on the field, return that target to the hand. Oh good, now it has 2 effects. This thing's real good. I think this would be really, really good in speed right now. Being a 1 tribute 2400 that can crash all the other 2400s like Jinzo, Dark Triceratops. I can't think of any more relevant ones. And then also the extra effect where if it's destroyed and sent to the grave, it doesn't have to be by battle, it just has to be destroyed and sent to the graveyard. Target a monster on the field, return that target to the hand. Doesn't matter if it's yours, doesn't matter if it's your opponent's. It can be either or. The possibilities with the card are frightening, and I think this card would be real strong. It's also a dragon, so we can drop it with Lord of D. This would make all those Kaiba decks a bit better. You can bring it back with Dragon's Rebirth. We have a plethora of options for this card, and I would love. I don't think it's too broken. I don't think it's insane, but I do think it would get real good. Kind of like how Gap saw a lot of play. This would probably see a lot of play. Maybe not quite as much, because Gap has a continuous effect that makes a lot of defenses cringe, whereas this returning one thing from the field to the hand, it depends what you're bouncing, obviously. Depends what you're looping or bouncing or whatever you're doing. So, definitely, really good card. Unfortunately, it does target, though, so like you drop this against Obelisk, it don't do anything, unfortunately. But, hey, we can't have everything, right? The next card I have on this list is not from the Battle City era, but I would also love to see this in Speed Duels. It's also a level 6 Light Dragon, 2500 attack, 1000 defense, which makes me wonder if we actually would get it, because we still don't have Summon Freaking Skull. And that is Crystal Dragon. This was actually from the Dark Side of Dimensions movie. Once per turn, during your battle step, if this card battled this turn, you can add one level 8 Dragon-type monster from your deck to your hand. Gives Blue Eyes a little extra push, gives them something, that they can play as a 1 tribute in the deck, that also adds a Blue Eyes after, while it's attacking, basically. And it's a little bit, it gives the deck a bit of a recovery, and by that I mean, you're going to drop Lord of the usually turn 1 with the Blue Eyes package and the, either 2 Blue Eyes or a Blue Eyes and a Tyrant Dragon, but if that gets blown up, you need a backup play. So this is 1 tribute that searches out Blue Eyes from your deck, and that way, it's 25 by itself, so you can sit on it for a while. Not that Kaiser Glider wasn't a great option either, the 2400 that can't die by battle, but you're sitting on that or that, and you're trying to build back to another Lord of D combo. At least that's how I feel like Blue Eyes is going right now. They might change it up, they might give it a better way to recover in the future, but let's just assume we're trying to do the same thing twice. So the second time, at least you have this 2500 wall until they get over this, and this thing is adding Blue Eyes to your hand. So it's actually adding level 8 dragons, so we get more level 8 light dragons, then we can do that. But you're adding, Blue Eyes to your hand through this. You don't have to worry about searching that. And then you just have to get the Lord of D and the Flute again, and, then you have your recover play. I mean, in addition, you could just drop this with the Lord of D in the beginning, add another Blue Eyes, and already have the Blue Eyes for part of your combo in the future, especially if you draw like a Kaiba man or something like that for, future Blue Eyes summons. So, it's a little bit quicker way, not that we don't already have 3 Summoners Art, 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Dragon Summoner if we're still playing that package, but it's another way to do so. So I just think this would be a real interesting thing to see in Speed. The last card on my list is Soul Exchange, and if y'all were thinking it was Enemy Controller, originally it was, but I'll go into why that's my honorable mention instead. Soul Exchange is a normal spell that says target one monster your opponent controls. This turn, if you tribute summon a monster, you must tribute that target as if you controlled it. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activated this card. I originally had this as my honorable mention and Enemy Controller as my number 10. However, looking further into it, Soul Exchange has its own downside, whereas Enemy Controller really doesn't. Soul Exchange says you can't conduct your battle phase the turn you use that effect. And I think that's what balances Soul Exchange. Whereas Enemy Controller doesn't stop you. Enemy Controller just says tribute a monster, then target a face of monster your opponent controls, take control of it. until the end phase. Like, so you can attack with it, you still have your battle phase, you contribute it, you can do anything you want with it, essentially. That's kind of scary. 4,000 Yu-Gi-Oh! Is where this card becomes a problem. So, unfortunately, Econ is going to be my honorable mention, and Soul Exchange is going to be my last 10. This card would still be very, very strong, especially, you know, if you're going the 2 tribute route. You tribute a monster in your field, you tribute a monster in your opponent's field with Soul Exchange. And again, it tributes it. It treats it as it's being tribute summoned, so it's not destroying it. It's, you know, you can dodge, what's it called? You can dodge Heavy Metal Raiders, Illusionist Faceless Magician with Relinquished. I'm not saying I love the idea of this, but I have to be unbiased as possible, and I think this card would make a lot of tribute summons interesting. The only thing I can see being abused with this is this in Jinzo, which is really scary to me. But again, Jinzo with enemy controller is arguably scarier. Because enemy controller, you just tribute anything. Let's say you take control of your opponent's Jinzo and tribute it for your Jinzo. They lost their Jinzo, you spot removal their card, and now you have your Jinzo. You summoned a level 6 monster for free, essentially. Yeah, you tributed a monster, whatever. The point is, instead of tributing a monster the hard summon way and then dropping a Jinzo and having 2 Jinzos clash, you've just made it so that you have a Jinzo, your opponent has no Jinzo, you still get your battle phase, you're still swinging in for 2,400. You guys see what I'm saying? Like, it gets kind of ridiculous. So Soul Exchange will round out the order here. Enemy Controller will be my honorable mention. And the only other honorable mention I want to bring in quickly is Vorse Raider. Either artwork. Obviously, I would prefer the one we have less of in the real world, but I do actually prefer the left over the right. I don't know, I've just always liked that artwork better. But again, I think 1900's too big right now. I don't think we're bringing in 1900s just yet. So, Vorse, unfortunately, gets cut. But yeah, enemy controller, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I didn't even explain its other effect. It says you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls and change that target's battle position. If it's face up and it's in defense, you can put something in attack mode, swing over it, and do more damage. I don't know. To me, the second effect already warrants it not being... It shouldn't be in Speed Duels. The first effect just adds insult to injury. It's extra things you could do that you shouldn't already be able to do already. I don't know. The card's fine in real Yu-Gi-Oh! It's always been really good. It sees play in and out of formats. But in Speed Duels, with 4,000 life points, unless we get a bunch of ways to gain life, I don't see this coming over. Soul Exchange already is pushing it. So if I had to choose either or, obviously I'm going to take Soul Exchange. But guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you like, love, hate any of my choices? I know there's less Blue Eyes cards than I'm sure most of you were hoping for, but I tried to keep it the Battle City cards. And I don't even want to begin Crush Card Virus. We're not going to talk about Crush Card Virus. It doesn't even deserve the honorable. We're just not Crush Card. No Crush cards, okay? Let me know, obviously, your thoughts and your stuff down below. Comment, like, and subscribe as always. Click the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.